If you're looking for the best neighborhoods to live in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, then listen up, as I'm about to give you my top 10 best neighborhoods in the city. And if you are like most of my clients and are looking for a lifestyle change and are considering relocating to the city and have no idea what are the best areas of the city to live, or maybe the safest areas of the city to live, you don't want to miss this video. Stay tuned. Hey everyone, this is Chris Furman and this is my channel, Living in Center City, Philadelphia. Welcome. If you're hoping to make a lifestyle change and are trying to figure out what are the best areas of the city to live, then this is the channel for you. So make sure to tap that subscribe button below and click that notification bell right next to it so you're notified each and every time we put out a brand new video for you. And we actually get a lot of folks that are reaching out to us looking to relocate to the Center City, Philly area, and we love helping them out on their journey. So if you're thinking about making a move, have any questions about the market, particular condo buildings, the neighborhoods here, or really if the city is even right for you, don't hesitate to reach out. Just shoot us a quick email to chris@meetchris.com. We'd love to help out. Now, since this channel is mainly focused on Center City, Philadelphia, my list of the best neighborhoods in Philly will primarily be focused on Center City, which consequently is the best area of the city to live in. Now, if you disagree with me, feel free to fight me down below in the comments. So without further ado, here's my list of the best neighborhoods in all of Philadelphia. All right, first up, we have Rittenhouse Square, and this is probably obvious because it's the most popular area of the city, known for its historic Rittenhouse Square Park, that 7-acre green space in the heart of Center City, Philly. A quick aside here, the order of my top 10 neighborhoods is in no particular order. So Rittenhouse is not necessarily the best neighborhood in Philadelphia. It really depends on you and your needs and your wants. Rittenhouse is very popular and is really good for some people, but not for everyone. So this is just my top 10 list. The term Rittenhouse Square is used to describe the upscale residential neighborhood that surrounds the park. The neighborhood is known for its historic brownstone buildings, luxury condos, high-end shopping, fine dining, cultural attractions, and a vibrant art scene. Rittenhouse is going to be one of the liveliest neighborhoods in the city and probably the most convenient area of the city, though I suppose that depends on your personal lifestyle and circumstances. So if you want to live in the heart of the city and be with all the nightlife and you have the budget for it, Rittenhouse Square might be the best place to be. Not much more is going to be convenient than living right here in the heart of Center City, in the heart of Rittenhouse Square. Before we talk about Rittenhouse Square's more mellow neighbor, my next neighborhood on my top 10 list is the Avenue of the Arts, which is also Rittenhouse Square's neighbor and is equally as exciting, if not more, than Rittenhouse. I just mentioned Rittenhouse is in the heart of the city, but the Avenue of the Arts is literally in the heart of the city, encompassing City Hall, which is in the middle of the city, the most iconic section of Broad Street, and that is the Avenue of the Arts. The exact borders of this neighborhood are really up for debate, but essentially what we're talking about is the stretch of Broad Street from City Hall going south to South Street and maybe even Washington Ave. Some may consider certain parts of Broad Street going north of City Hall also to be the Avenue of the Arts, but the most popular section is certainly south of City Hall, going down a little bit again, maybe to south or Washington Ave, just depending on who you talk to. Now, how far off Broad Street to the east or to the west the neighborhood extends is certainly up for debate, but the epicenter is for sure Broad Street. You'll love this neighborhood if you love the arts and the cultural scene. The world-famous Kimmel Center, the Academy of Music, and other venues are right here along Broad Street for you to enjoy Broadway-style shows, orchestra, the opera, and so much more. In addition, there are great restaurants right along Broad Street, or you can walk just east or just west of Broad Street to Rittenhouse or Washington Square West for their food scenes, which are some of the best food scenes, food areas in all of the city. And if you want condo living and a lot of excitement, you need to seriously consider the Avenue of the Arts. Next up, we have Fitler Square, the neighborhood directly west of Rittenhouse Square that I mentioned earlier that is a more mellow neighbor. This is one of the most coveted neighborhoods in all of the city, and for good reason. One of the reasons that residents love this area is for the urban tranquility. You're close to all the hustle and bustle of Rittenhouse, but a little bit removed to get a more residential feel, a more laid-back environment. But you can easily access all of the nightlife on Rittenhouse, and there is nightlife here, it's just much more mellow. So you can be a part of the downtown Rittenhouse areas, enjoy those restaurants, but retreat back to your home, to your more mellow area. So if you're looking for a little bit more peace and quiet, this area could be great for you. Lots of families actually love this area because there are some killer public and private schools, but it's also the more mellow nightlife, more mellow area, right? A little bit more laid back, relaxed. You also have the #1 green space and open space in all of Center City here, in my opinion, the Schuylkill River Trail and Park and all that that has to entail. This provides ample space to hang out, to relax, to get a game of pickleball, basketball, tennis, jog along the trail, or whatever. So if you're into fitness, you really need to check out this area because of the Schuylkill River Trail and Park. And I'll show you that later in a video in the description below. I've got an entire video on this particular amenity of the city. The Fitler Square neighborhood is also very convenient to get over to University City if you're attending one of the universities over there, or if you're teaching, or if you're in a medical community working right over the South Street Bridge. This is a really convenient neighborhood to call home. And I love this neighborhood and am often on the trail myself, the Schuylkill River Trail, soaking up some sun and getting some exercise. The fourth neighborhood on my top 10 list is just south of Fitler in Rittenhouse Square, and that's called Graduate Hospital, or Southwest Center City, depending on who you talk to, but most just call it Grad Hospital. So Grad Hospital is a more affordable choice than Rittenhouse Square or Fitler Square for sure, but it's close enough to still enjoy all the benefits of this great city. Now, according to the strict definition of South Philly being south of South Street, Graduate Hospital is technically in South Philly. However, most residents here would probably not say that. They'd probably still consider this an extension of Center City. This area is going to have a little bit more of a residential vibe than, let's say, Rittenhouse or around Broad Street and City Hall, like the Avenue of the Arts that we just talked about, with taller buildings, lots of condos, lots of restaurants, coffee shops, things like that. So naturally, there will be less people walking around this area because there's just less to do. There's less noise, which if you're looking for that, could be a really great amenity. So in light of that, the homes in this area are generally going to be row homes as opposed to condo buildings, mid to high-rise condo buildings like in Rittenhouse. Lots of families and young professionals love this area because it's a bit more affordable and still has convenient access to a lot of the city. Grad Hospital has a few more unique gated communities that are pretty stellar options actually. So send me an email to chris@meetchris.com with the subject Graduate Hospital or Grad Hospital gated communities if you'd like more information on these particular communities. Just pause the video real quick, send me an email with the subject Grad Hospital gated communities, and we'll send that right over to you. This is also a great area for medical professionals who are working right over that South Street Bridge I talked about earlier in that medical cluster community in University City. And if you found this video helpful thus far, it would mean the world to me if you wouldn't mind going below and clicking that like button so that YouTube knows I'm putting out some helpful content. I would greatly appreciate that. All right, the next neighborhood on my list is the Art Museum or the Fairmont neighborhood. This is to the north of Market Street. We've been south of Market so far, so now we're going to the north of Market. And this is home to the famous Philly Art Museum with the Rocky Steps and all. Now the vibe here is going to be fairly unique compared to many other Philly neighborhoods. Fairmont is located between Spring Garden Street and Girard Ave and between Broad Street and the Schuylkill River. The section closer to the museum section is going to be replete with open and green space and lots of areas to walk. It's a rather lovely urban environment here. It's very unique. You really have to see it in person to understand it. So if you love being active, you'll really enjoy the proximity to all of these areas to walk, bike, or jog, and just feel a bit more open with that open and green space. Parts of this area will naturally be attracting more tourism and be more active, like around the Art Museum. However, many parts of this area will also have the best views of the Philly skyline. The area is really incredible and they got great views. However, much of Fairmont is a very laid back, more mellow, and I believe the word quaint is a fitting description of much of this area. Fairmont has a small town feel, especially if you are close to Fairmont Ave. The unique vibe of this area is really uncommon in the city. Walking down parts of Fairmont Ave kind of feel like walking down a small town in a suburban community, and many people like this vibe. There are many restaurants, coffee shops, and bars along this Ave. The beauty of Fairmont is that while having all of this in your backyard, you're only minutes away from other downtown and central areas of the city. The area has a 95 out of 100 walkability score. Families typically love this area, but it's really great for all, from young professionals just starting out to retirees looking for a change of pace and lifestyle. This video is sponsored by Evergreen Maids, Philly's finest home cleaning service. If you're looking for quality home cleaning service in Philly, check out Evergreen Maids. They are pet friendly and Philly local and will keep your home sparkling and fresh in a safe and non-toxic manner. My family loves Evergreen Maids, and so do all my real estate clients. I'll put all their information in the description below and also coupon codes that you can get 25% off your initial cleaning. Now back to the video. For our next neighborhood, we're going to go to the east of Broad Street. So far, we've been on the west of Broad Street. Now let's talk about Washington Square West. Named after one of the 5 original parks, or public squares, that William Penn designed into the city development centuries ago, this neighborhood is just west of Washington Square Park, hence the name, Washington Square West. Loosely defined, the neighborhood is located between Broad Street and 7th Street, and between Market Street to the north and South Street to the south. It's east of Rittenhouse Square and west of Society Hill. Washington Square West actually is more like 3 neighborhoods in one, and it includes Midtown Village and the Gayborhood, which have their own really distinct characteristics here. So what the area is going to look like and feel like is obviously going to be dependent upon what section you're in. The area known as the Gayborhood is around Chestnut to Pine and 11th Street to Juniper typically. It's known for its large population of LGBTQ-friendly businesses, bars, restaurants, and things like that. And you can't miss the area when walking around, as you're going to see rainbow-colored street signs. All right, so then what is the Midtown Village area then? Well, it's essentially the same geographic area, Market Street to Spruce Street and 11th Street to Broad Street. There are numerous small businesses and restaurants in this area, especially along 13th Street, which are very popular. This lively area is full of local boutiques, bars, and must-visit restaurants that are found only in Center City, Philly. This area has changed over time and is continuing to change with the redevelopment, and the delineation between the Gayborhood and Midtown Village is really becoming less clear over time. Many young professionals live in this area due to its more affordable home prices compared to, say, Rittenhouse Square, but still being in a great location, convenient to work on Market Street, and having a great restaurant and bar scene here. The area also has a ton of medical professionals due to Jefferson Hospital and the university at Jefferson being in this neighborhood, really taking over a large portion of this particular neighborhood. And in case you're wondering about crime and safety, by the way, in Philadelphia, I'll discuss that at the end of this video, so stay tuned. And real quick, before we get into some of the most expensive areas of the city, as much as I love making these videos, I love helping people relocate to the Center City, Philly area even more. And if you're like most of my clients, moving to the area and really you don't know where to live, you don't know what are the good areas, the safe areas, the best neighborhoods for your particular situation, or honestly, even if the city is right for you to begin with, I totally understand where you're coming from. You are not alone. Most of my clients actually were in your shoes until they reached out to me for advice. So just shoot me a quick email to chris@meetchris.com and let me know what you're hoping to accomplish, and I would love to help you out. I'm always working with someone just like yourself who's trying to figure it all out. I would love to help. The next neighborhood on my list is Society Hill, which has some of the best preserved 18th and 19th century architecture in all of the United States, actually. Its cobblestone streets, its charming row homes, and its Georgian-style mansions really contribute to this unique charm and appeal of the area. Society Hill is located between 8th Street and the Delaware River, and between Walnut Street and Lombard Street. It's east of Washington Square and south of Old City. Society Hill is really full of history, as it's one of the oldest neighborhoods in all of Philadelphia, really where Pennsylvania started to take shape. This neighborhood is great for those who love historical architecture and want to be close to history and nightlife, but also want a residential feel. You aren't too close to the local attractions, but you're close enough that you can get to them relatively easily. In Society Hill, you'll get the quintessential Philly living experience with historic homes, brick sidewalks, cobblestone alleys, and tree-lined streets. This area has a great balance of things to do mixed with a peace and quiet that you really don't get in places like Rittenhouse, for example. It's a very family-friendly area as well. In Society Hill, you'll also be close to the highway for convenience and also Penn's Landing for added excitement, or to walk, run, or bike along the Delaware River Trail. And if you've dreamed about living in the birthplace of the United States of America, then our next neighborhood is for you. Old City. Just north of Society Hill, Old City is one of the most historical neighborhoods in all of America. After all, Old City is known as America's most historic square mile, full of awesome bars, restaurants, local independent shops, art galleries, charming homes, and much more. If you're an architecture lover, you'll be in awe of Old City. Now, although the neighborhood is decently large, many of the locations here are actually reserved for historical sites and parks and are not for sale. Old City contains pretty much everything you think of when you think of historical Philadelphia. The Liberty Bell, Independence Hall, the first US Mint, all of these things are right here in Old City. Although known for its history, obviously, this area has much more to offer than just that. The area has a vibrant art scene and food scenes as well. It's actually pretty lively and has a good nightlife. Plus, it's also right next to Penn's Landing and all that that area has to offer that we just talked about. In my opinion, I would say this area is great for young professionals or singles, but not necessarily the best option for families. I think you could definitely make it work for family, but I think Society Hill, just south of Old City, is a better option to consider for families. Most of your housing options in Old City will be condos as opposed to townhomes. There are a few high-rise condo buildings in the area, but most of them are going to be mid to low-rise condominiums. My next neighborhood pick is Queen Village. The Queen Village neighborhood is directly south of Society Hill, so its eastern border will still be the Delaware River or Penn's Landing, just like Society Hill. Its western border is 6th Street, and its southern border is Washington Ave, and its northern border is Lombard Street, where it connects to Society Hill. Technically, according to the strict definition of Center City, with South Street being the southern border of Center City, most of Queen Village is actually just outside of Center City. However, Queen Village is a stellar place to call home, with Niche.com ranking it the #2 best neighborhoods to live in all of Philadelphia. I picked Queen Village because it shares some similar amenities to Society Hill, like the proximity to the highway for convenience and Penn's Landing for exercise and outdoor enjoyment, and access to the nightlife on South Street and other areas, but a more affordable cost than Society Hill. Queen Village is a laid-back area with lots of local businesses, restaurants, and shops. And most of the housing options here are going to be 2 to 3 story row homes, and many families therefore call this area home. So if you're looking for a more affordable area, but want to be close to some of the nightlife on South Street, and you really like the proximity to Penn's Landing and Society Hill, Queen Village could be a really great neighborhood for you to call home. After my last neighborhood on my list, I'll be going through a quick lightning round where I give you my top picks for families, young professionals, empty nesters, retirees, and dog lovers. So make sure to stick around until the end. All right, next up we have the underdog Bella Vista. I feel like Bella Vista is an underappreciated section of Philadelphia, overshadowed really by its neighbor Queen Village. Bella Vista is just south of Washington Square West and parts of Society Hill, and just west of Queen Village. All of the surrounding neighborhoods here are really stellar neighborhoods to share borders with. The Italian Market is actually one of the major destinations for this particular neighborhood, and it's located along a large stretch of 9th Street. It even extends all the way south of Bella Vista, going down to Wharton Street, where the famous Pat's and Gino's cheesesteak places are. Now, if you're looking for the best cheesesteaks, by the way, Bella Vista is actually a better option for you. Go to Angelo's Pizzeria compared to Pat's and Gino's. If you want the experience, the excitement of Pat's and Gino's, go there, but the actual cheesesteak itself is probably better at Angelo's Pizzeria. The Italian Market is one of the nation's oldest outdoor curb markets. selling produce, fruit, meats, fish, cheese, and really many other specialty foods here in stores and on the sidewalks. And if you've got a family and are considering Bella Vista, make sure to send me an email to connect about the best schools. This neighborhood is actually, it's kind of confusing. There's 3 catchments in this particular neighborhood. That's not necessarily common in a lot of neighborhoods in Philly, but this one is a bit more tricky. So just send me a quick email, chris@meetchris.com, if you have any questions about that. And one of the top schools in all the city actually is right here in one of the 3 of those catchments. So again, email me if you want to learn more information. Most of your housing options in the area are going to be townhomes and the rest condos. Now, there won't be any high-rise condos like you see in the neighborhoods to the north of Bella Vista, like Washington Square West or Society Hill. If a condo, it will be a low-rise building or a home that was converted into 2 to 5 condos, which we typically call a condo conversion. Listen to how one resident described Bella Vista: a quaint yet beautiful neighborhood with pretty tree-lined streets, access to a variety of foods, and a short walk into Center City. What's not to love about this place? All right, let's get into the lightning round. My top pick for young professionals is Rittenhouse Square or Washington Square West or Grad Hospital. My top picks for families would be Fitler Square if you have the budget, Fairmont or Queen Village, or Bella Vista if you don't. My top pick for empty nesters or retirees is going to be Society Hill if you love proximity to history and want a low-key area, and either the Avenue of the Arts or Rittenhouse Square if you want more nightlife and more excitement. And my top pick for dog lovers is Fitler Square to be near the dog parks or the Schuylkill River Trail, and the Art Museum area to be near so much open and green space, or Bella Vista to be near a number of awesome dog parks. And my top pick for a fully gated and guarded community in the city is going to be Naval Square. This is a unique, one-of-a-kind compound that provides you a feeling of living in a suburban area while being in the heart of the city. Send me an email if you want more details on this particular neighborhood. And let me know in the comments below what you think is the #1 best neighborhood in all of Philadelphia. And if you want to learn more about crime and safety in Philly, click here. And if you want to learn more about the best outdoor amenity in Center City, Philly, make sure to click here to learn more about the Schuylkill River Trail, park, and all.